This episode of Techno Buffalo is brought to you by GoDaddy. What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the episode of Rettinger's Riffs, the show where I take anything from the world of technology that's going on and we chat about it. This week, I finally had a chance after all these years to go to Comic-Con. I'm doing this for emphasis. I've always wanted to go. I've always read about it. I've always watched the trailers. I've always watched the leak trailers. I've always read all the comics, and I finally got to go, and it was super exciting. So if you ever wanted to go to Comic-Con and want to hear someone's first experiences, keep watching. So first of all, registering for Comic-Con is crazy difficult. We've registered for a ton of trade shows without any sort of difficulty whatsoever, but getting in for Comic-Con is like a whole other beast. We had to pre-register as press like 6 months in advance. We had to send in letters on letterhead and prove that we were press. It was a whole deal, but we finally got approved and all was good with the world. So we go down to San Diego for Comic-Con. We took the train down there. We're just about a 2-hour train ride down from Orange County. I didn't know what to expect. I was expecting like CES, but just with comics. So first, we get down there, pull up the train. As soon as we get to the train station, there are people in costumes. And you see all the pictures of everybody in cosplay, and it is like that everywhere you go. People ranging of all body styles and shapes too. Got men and women of just in various stages of dress and undress, walking around San Diego, which is also very weird. So we finally got into Comic-Con, and I expected just giant hall after hall of stuff. Turns out it's really just kind of one major hall where all this stuff is. And it's called Comic-Con, but all the comic book stuff, all the comic book vendors in the stores are kind of like shunned in the corner, which was very weird. But they had just thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of comics of everyone you could think of, even names you never heard of. There was a comic I saw of a guy whose superhero was he could pick off his limbs and throw it. That is not a joke, it was a thing. And I saw it. Absolutely bizarre. They've got things that are in slabs and comic books out everywhere. People are just talking about nerd things. In fact, speaking of talking about nerd things, if you listen while you're there, you will hear absolutely crazy, crazy stuff. The weirdest thing I heard, one of the most nerdy things I heard rather, I heard people talking about the new Daredevil series on Netflix. And no joke, this is the voice. I'm not making this up to do a nerd stereotype. This is the voice that I heard. You know, I'm really hoping the Daredevil series on Netflix is truly the source material and that Daredevil does get his powers from a radioactive post that falls on his back and gets rid of his eyesight. I really hope they do that right. And that was just an example of the stuff you hear. It is awesome. There's not been a better time in the world to be a geek than right now. I'm 34 years old. I'm not that far removed from the middle school, high school ages, but now if you're a geek in that age, you are like the coolest, and it is awesome to see. So Comic-Con is morphed from being just about the comics. I went with their editor-in-chief, Sean Ani, who, fun fact, used to run a comic book shop. I used to go all the time in the 90s when it was just about the comics, and now it's sort of more about the movies and the paraphernalia that go along, you know, with comics. There's a lot of anime stuff there, and a lot of other things I didn't know what it was that goes along with anime. But it's sort of all about the movies. That's sort of prevailing everywhere. If you want to get into one of these panels, you see they showed a trailer for season 5 of The Walking Dead. You want to talk to the folks that are in Avengers Age of Ultron. You pretty much have to camp out like 4 days in advance. Let me interrupt my nerd comic talk for a quick sec to thanks to peeps at GoDaddy. I want to remind you should put your website to work while you're out playing at Comic-Con. A website is online. It works 24/7 so that you don't have to. No matter where you are, what you're doing, you can sit back, relax. People can still find you online. Start building your site today with GoDaddy. It starts at just $1.99 per domain. Just enter promo code 199techno at checkout, but some limitations might apply, so check out the website for the rest of the details. Now more nerd talk. And the funny thing also about Comic-Con, the day we were there, which was on Wednesday, there was a ton of movie news coming out. Because you've got that many people in a small area, cell phones don't really work. So despite being at Comic-Con, I got almost zero movie news and zero comic news that was going on. Marvel announced a sequel to Guardians of the Galaxy, and I had no idea. So kind of ironically, when you're at Comic-Con, you don't know what's going on in the world of Comic-Con. The people walking around in costumes, again, are absolutely awesome. We did a whole gallery of Comic-Con. I'll put a link to it down below if you want to check out all the pictures. People in costumes, people just walking around, all the Lego stuff that was there. It was just absolutely awesome to see. Comic-Con was not what I expected, which is not to say that was a bad thing. I expected just huge, sprawling displays, comics everywhere. I expected to see celebrities walking around. I expected the panels to be easy to get into, and maybe that was just my naivete. But that's not what it was. It was packed in that one hall. I mean, it was shoulder to shoulder with people. And on one side, you might have a guy dressed up like Dr. Doom. The other side, you've got like sexy Spider-Girl next to you, which is kind of cool to see. It just was a lot of fun. If you ever have a chance, the opportunity to go to Comic-Con, I totally recommend it. Make the trip if you're not in California. San Diego, I think, is one of the most beautiful spots in the entire country. So it's a cool place to go for a vacation. But go there and experience it if you can. It is absolutely awesome to behold. And the pictures in the gallery don't do the whole thing justice. But if you want to live a little bit vicariously, check it out. It was cool to see the melding of tech and comics. There were so many companies that were using Oculus to sort of give an immersive experience to what they were trying to show. And this was really cool. And my inner nerd and my inner like 14-year-old who sort of used to sit and read comics and in shame upstairs was kind of proud and came back out and just sort of made me, I don't know, just fun to be alive right now. It's just really cool. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode of Rettinger's Riffs talking about Comic-Con. Any questions you guys have about Comic-Con or stuff that we saw or didn't see, leave them down below to hear your thoughts on it. Until next time, guys, check us out at technobuffalo.com. Latest and greatest tech news. I'm John Rettinger. See you next video. Bye-bye. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. We love making these videos, and I hope you like watching them as much as we do making them. If you want to check out more about Techno Buffalo has to offer, hit the big subscribe button, and you'll be up to date on whatever's coming next.